Welcome everybody to Revolutionize Your Marketing. It's time to talk all about your marketing and so on with our one and only John Petros Sr. So we have the show every Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central, and we're allowed to have you join us. So connect with us if you are interested in being on the show. But moment, I'm gonna bring in our host for this evening, John Petros. How are you, John?
I'm doing good tonight, Emily, and yourself.
Yeah, I'm good.
And welcome, folks, to Revolutionize Your Marketing. And I've got a special guest here with me tonight. Um, Kind of interesting in what he does. Let's bring Mark on in here, Emily.
Hello, good to be here. Thank you. Good to be
Hello.
here, John. Thank you.
Okay, let's let people know, first of all, who you are, where you're from, and how you got to do what you're doing today.
Okay, Mark Miller, and I'm in Indiana. I was born in Indiana, lived here for a number of years and in a number of other states and back home in Indiana. So that's where we started from, and we're back to this area. What we do is actually have people to be able to have pure water for life. Some refer to me as Dr. H2O because we're all concerned about water, about what you need, what we need, and what everybody across the planet needs. It's the number two thing that everybody needs more than anything else. I can't help you with your air, but with water, it's the most important thing even before food. So everybody needs pure water, and many people don't have. But if you are here and still living, you have to have water from some source. We'd just like to help you make it have pure water instead of something that's not good for you.
Okay. Um, Speaking of pure water, I'm going to start off with a tough one for you. What's your opinion on bottled water?
Well, that's not a tough one. Bottled water, generally speaking, is not necessarily good for you. There's some that are better than others, but there's some that's bottom line, it's not really controlled by any government entity in a way that would make sure that it is safe, especially bottled water. So that is not something that you can count. It's better than drinking out of a dirty pond or whatever, but it's not necessarily pure.
It's purer than what we have here in Drake, I can tell you that. So tell me about the pure water for life.
Okay. Well, what happens in all of the world is there's very few people that really have pure water. Let's just start with that. We in America are more privileged than most, but just like recently in one of the projects that we'll probably mention a little later, I was talking to a person in another country, and we have the water that we have is we refer to it a lot of times as an emergency system. But if you don't have any water except dirty water, it's not an emergency, it's a daily need. So I was asking him how many, if you had 100 filters that we would supply, how many of them would work if on a tap, like having a tap filter rather than just out of a bucket or getting it out of a stream or whatever.
Hmm.
And his immediate answer was zero. In other words, we don't have any water, running water. We don't have any tap water. All the water we get is from a dirty source that we have to figure out how to drink it or see if there's a way to help. So that's what we say, pure water for life. There's there's a different types of filters, as you know, and we don't have to break down all of those, but one of the things that we find is in many countries, there's primarily there's certain things like bacteria and 100% microplastic removal. Those type things are things that really are definitely something that needs to be taken care of. So what we have is, as far as the pure water for life, that's a general one like I'm describing that could be used by anybody. It takes out everything like the bacteria and the microplastics. And it's been the filter is actually been manufactured for years. There's over 1 million of them in the world. There's over 28 million people every day having pure water because of this type filter. And the manufacturer actually gives a lifetime guarantee on the filter because of the way it's designed. It's designed to have you can actually, it's gravity flow. So whenever you need to, whenever it slows down, it always puts out pure water. But when it slows down a little bit, you can take the filter, reverse it, take some of the pure water that it created, backwash it with the pure water, reverse, turn it back around again, and use it again. And it also helps, actually does up to 150 gallons of water per day. So that means with a half a gallon of water for each person, up to 300 people could have pure water every single day for life, even if there's no electricity, never having to buy another filter, never having to change a filter.
Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard of them being able to be the filters swapping them around and then using that to clean the filter and use the filter again. That's pretty cool. I like that idea.
Right. And that's really necessary in the foreign countries. And
Yeah.
this started, John, first of all, about 3.5 years ago is when it really became front and center. I had something in mind when I was 16 years of age, that there would be something that I would do in my lifetime that would make a difference, a major difference in lots of people. I didn't know what that meant as a 16-year-old, but through the years, I would do things to say, I need to learn this or I need to do this to be prepared for whatever that is. About 3.5 years ago, I was in a missionary service in a small church. There was a missionary from Central America, and one of the first things he said, the number one reason why children die in these foreign countries is because of bad water, dirty water. I heard that, and I was
Mm.
sitting there in my mind. The first thing that came to my mind at that point, John, we're living in a nation of 300 plus million people. If there was no electricity for 5 to 7 days, how many would survive? And those that did, how well would they survive? So that was the start of my journey. But from that point, I realized over the course of the last few months, there's a lot of people in the everybody needs one of these because it is possible there to be no electricity at some time. But it's not top of mind with a lot of people. But I've found that it is top of mind with everybody else nearly in the world because they don't have what we have. So in the last
Yeah.
5 months, there's been so much activity with people from all around the world that are making contact with us, don't know about this filter, and we're beginning to have the attraction to be able to help. I'm 74 years of age. This is my mission for life and for the rest of my life, and also preparing us with my UA Legacy grants for that to be here to help others long after I would be someone that would be in heaven.
Inter Interesting story. So your whole thing with the water started at a young age.
Yes, it wasn't just water. It was like
Yeah.
I lived in a home
Yeah.
with the well and having challenges with that and different things.
Yeah.
So I was conscious of it. And then at 16, there was some, but it wasn't clear of what that meant. But whenever through the years that developed and just continued to grow with different things. I was on the board of directors of a nonprofit entity for 33 years. So you know a lot of things about a lot of things when you're involved with that type thing and
Yeah.
helping people in a different ways. So it really grew on me, but all came together about 3.5 years ago. Just this is your mission. And I'll just give you one other thing related to that, John, that is very relevant. When I got to a certain point and found the filter that we talked about and the lifetime guarantee, it could help up to 300 people. You never had to buy another filter. That's the only thing that I've found that works. So whenever I got to that point, I began to do the things to try to reach out to people and let them know that there is a solution. But there came a point where I would just about a year and a half ago, I was just sitting in the chair and I had a vision. It wasn't, I wasn't asleep. I wasn't on top of a mountain, but it was as if I was on top of a mountain, and as far as I could see for miles and miles were millions of people coming forward and saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And I sat there and meditated, what does this mean? And it came clear to me that thing you didn't know what it was when you were 16. This is your mission.
Yeah.
You will change millions of lives with what you're doing to help people around the world that have no other way to do this, but you have the solution. All you have to do is get the word out and raise the funds necessary to help millions of people around the world.
Wow. Yeah. That that's amazing. Um, so explain a little bit more in detail how the filters work.
Okay. It's very simple. It's one of the simplest things there is. Sometimes, and this relates to a lot of things, John, you have to work through the complexity to get to the simplicity many times. And that's what I had to work through to find something that does work no matter what happens, no matter no electricity, etc. So what it is a very simple thing. The filter is a very small filter. You have it using it where if you don't have any way to get water, you can go to any stream, for example, or any other source of water, whatever it is, a 5 gallon container, for example, put 5 gallons of dirty water in that container. There's an adapter kit on the bottom or at the lower edge of that adapter, an adapter kit for that 5 gallon container. You have the filter that's below gravity flow, below the 5 gallon container, and you are able to run that water into whatever containers you want, and it comes out and takes out everything that would make you sick.
Hmm, that's interesting. Wow. That'd be great for people going camping too.
Absolutely. Yes.
Definitely.
Right.
Um, is is that filter out on the market or
The answer is
it is?
yes. It's been out for years, but most people aren't aware of
Yeah.
it. And because they don't have, never, they need, there's some people like hunters and campers, they're familiar with it. But one of the things that's different about what we have and what we're doing is we have the nonprofit entity. The manufacturer does
Hmm.
things to help those that have a passion for what we're doing and actually gives everything that's necessary, and including an adapter kit, for example, that would go on that 5 gallon container without having to go look for something to put together. So the big
Yeah.
thing that we have is everything is completely in place for you to have pure water. In fact, we actually have it available in the United States to where you can get that actually shipped to your door, everything included, the filter, the adapter kit, the thing to backwash it, the everything, including shipping as well, for $149 one-time purchase. You never have to buy one again.
Hmm.
That's
Wow.
designed for that. The other part, though, that really makes the difference, and what we are more and more focusing on because of the need, is are those that are in other foreign countries that again have no way to have pure water without what we have. And there's other filters similar in many ways, but there's no other filter that has a lifetime guarantee from the manufacturer that does the backwash. You can do the backwash, not have to replace it, and does 150 gallons up to 150 gallons a day to help up to 300 people. Those are the three things that are different that makes it really
Hmm.
work. Wherever somebody is, there's always a way to have pure water.
Wow.
Now, related to that, we are having more and more activity, as I mentioned, in other countries. And we have a project now that we're working on that we started. In fact, the original first touch of finding and knowing about this project came from Kurt. He actually mentioned that he knew a person and he gave me the name of the person and he began to talk about it. And he said, I think he has quite a few in a refugee camp. The number was exponentially more than what either one of us realized, but there's 300,000 refugees in a refugee camp with no water of any sort except dirty water that some is hauled in, others are just whatever, wherever they can get it. What
Mm.
we're doing is we're working to raise funds to put 1,000 filters, and in the ones that we're doing in the foreign country is $100 per unit per filter. So 1,000 filters
Yeah.
times 100 is $100,000. We're working to raise $100,000 for that project, and we actually this week, John, have made a very big step to start the process. We have someone that has helped to put up half of the money needed for 200 filters to
Mm.
start the project, which would help as many as
Wow.
60,000 people. So we need, so again, that's $20,000, and 10,000 has been put in place, and 10,000 remaining that we're looking for those that would have a passion or know someone that would have a passion to help us for that. Once we have those filters will go into that refugee camp, and we already have everything set up, including the delivery and the training person to do the training, everything, and all of this stuff that you normally have to work through in these foreign countries through the country, through the United Nations. All of those things are already resolved because of the relationship we have with somebody that's in the system that already has the credentials with all that. So everything's in place, and we had the conversation with the person this morning, and just talking about how everything's in place, and we're working to raise that $10,000 in the next few days with God's help to begin that process, and that will change lots of lives.
Wow. Everything's in place, so that project will be on board very soon. Very,
Exactly.
very soon.
Right.
That's good. Um, Excellent work.
Thank you.
And then the more word gets out about it too, then you get more countries involved.
Exactly. There are some
Yeah,
refugee camps with 1 million in the refugee camp. We just in a few weeks ago, we were able to put water filtration systems into 3 different orphanages in Uganda. So there's now 400 orphans that have, for the first time in their life, have pure water. And it's not
wow.
only for their while they're there, but the orphanage has the filter. The filter has the lifetime guarantee, so the future orphans will also be covered as well.
Wow. That's excellent. That's really excellent. Uh, I'm just trying to figure out how I can help.
So getting the word
Yeah,
out and getting those contact with those that do have, what we're finding,
mm,
John, a lot of people do care about something like this. Some don't
yeah,
have the financial ability, but some do. And some that don't have the contacts and relationships with those that do. And I haven't experienced it yet, but some of the people that do work with high level projects that cost a lot of money, 1,000, 100,000, 1 million, etc. They say people have the money when they find out about a project like this. They
yeah,
care. It's not about the money, it's about the mission. And they'll love to be able to, they just need to know about it. And that's what we're finding.
yeah, yeah. I can think of a few people right off the top of my head that jump on opportunities like that. Um, Matter of fact, I'll try and get a hold of one for you.
That'd be great. What, and I'll be happy to actually have one-on-one communication with anybody, or you with them as well.
Yeah,
Whenever I share this story, people do get it, and it's amazing how many people either like what we're doing and share it with others, or we haven't had a lot of people come forward yet with finances because we're just to that stage now where everything's
yeah,
in place, not just with this one project, but literally one of the relationships we have is a person that's walking across Africa to make people aware of the need across the continent of Africa.
mm,
He called me just a few weeks ago and he said, Mark, what you're doing is greater than what I'm doing. He has some things he's doing to make people know about it. But he said, if we could work to have 1,000 distribution centers across the continent of Africa and raise the funds to get those filters to those distribution centers, millions and millions of lives could be changed.
true. very true. Yeah, next couple of days, I'll make some phone calls and see if one person in particular that I know will probably jump to the opportunity. I mean, he just donated a couple of years ago $1 million to the local Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, great.
And it was like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Um, I will give his people a call
I appreciate that.
the beginning of the week
Okay.
and see what I can work out with him for you.
Right. And Kurt has all my information, my contact information. I'd be happy to give it to you as well. And
Yeah.
we can,
Okay.
Emily has it as well. So,
Um, what else? That's kind of pretty much everything I can come up with to ask.
okay.
You did excellent explaining about it all.
Thank
Left
you.
no questions unanswered, pretty much. Kurt, did you want to jump in here and join our conversation?
Definitely can jump on in here. So um, let's tie a few more of the loose ends together here. We're enjoying our time here on Revolutionize Your Marketing show by John Petros Sr. right here, Mill City Marketing MA. And it all started one day when I was working on nonprofit work, and John was too, or co-working on nonprofit mission and another live stream, and that kind of went to the wayside, fizzled out, and provided me the gumption to say, "Hey, John, did you ever think of doing a podcast?" He's like, kind of, sort of, type of thing. And I'm like, well, how about doing it right now? And minutes later, we got on live stream here, kind of like Mark. I kind of told Mark, earlier today, there's two parts of this, but today, right now in the show, introduce Mark just real quickly. We do a Revolutionize Your Marketing show, invited him to come on right now, and boom, he's on here and guesting in the show right now. But Mark also, learned what Emily and I are doing with the World Ability Podcast Network. And so we co-created the World of Water show. So, right now we're focusing on this project that you're hearing about right now. So we're not, producing more episodes right now, World of Water. But Mark, you want to take a moment and give a little bit of your rendition of the background of World of Water and the shows you got in the can? There's some unique opportunities on the channel. Emily can help us make sure people can connect to the channel through the description and comment section of the YouTube live and the lives of this show. But Mark, you want to give some commentary of your experience so far with the World of Water? Wow.
Yes. Wow. And Kurt is the one that came up with that. Wow. And thank you. Okay. Another thing I wanted to take a moment, Kurt. You're the one that introduced me to the refugee camp, that person. And one of the things I don't know whether you remember or not, but you said, I know it's a refugee camp. I don't know how many's in it. I think 10,000 or something. And the first question I asked when I talked to the person is, how many do you have? And he said 300,000. So that was kind of an interesting, blew my mind for sure. But that is one of the things that really has been a blessing to be able to see this thing actually materializing, coming together. As far as the World of Water, what I tried to do in a few sessions, and we'll do more at a future time, but what we did the first few, we have probably 12 or 15 different podcasts that we recorded. All of them kind of different about different things. Part of it's about the background, part of it's, but it was before we had this clarity on working with the refugee camp, for example. And what we're realizing, what we have is it tells about the product, about what it does, some of the things with John, like what we talked about, also how it could work with people in the United States, and for things whenever there's a major challenge in the United States, a hurricane, et cetera, et cetera. But then again, in the last few weeks, it's just been more and more related to the large projects with large numbers of people that have a great need. You don't have to get them and convince them they need one. All you have to do is come to them and show them the power of what it does. And then, of course, most of them don't have the financial means, so raising the funds for that to do that. And now putting together something that will change millions of lives. And what I say, and so I've said that on the podcast, I'm sure as well, is when you give somebody pure water that never had it and they have it for life, whatever else you want to talk about, they'll listen to you and want to hear more.
Yep, that's true.
So, well, let's talk
Oh,
marketing, guys. So we have a fundraiser going on right now, and so Keys is out there in Kenya, at the refugee camp. You know, maybe a little hope or put an energy into, kind of reach out to 8.2 billion people on the planet and say, hey, is anybody out there? Can you help us bring safer, cleaner water to the refugee camp? And, but we got to put the work in. We got to, like right now in the show, we're going out to LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We're putting it on X Spaces, and Emily uses Clubhouse, and da da da. We're taking all of those efforts. We have Alignable. Mark, you're on Alignable too. Pretty good, right? So we
I'm
got
in
the
Alignable. I'm not real active in it, but yes, I'm in it. Yes.
yep. So we
well,
got
you
Alignable's
will be.
Yes.
I'll put the wood out on it. You will be.
I hear you. I hear you. I heard that early in this conversation, John.
Yeah, so Mark, anything else you want to share in terms of, with your emails and your texting and other networking? I know you participate with us here at Spirit of the Game Foundation. All that outreaching stuff is crucial. You want to speak more to that, Mark? The, promotion and, how you communicate to people that there's a donation opportunity to this initiative with UA Legacy Grants?
Yes, and this has all primarily just come together in the last few weeks, with everything clear about what we're doing and clearer about the mission and the projects and et cetera. And by the way, Kurt, I had a good conversation with Kiza this morning, so updated him about the having half of the funds available for the first 200 units. He really got excited. So we're looking forward to that, and expect to be able to have that process. And again, everything's in place to be able to get that done within 10 to 24 days. We will be able to have pure water going into that camp. So as far as contacts and other ways to communicate, I haven't done a lot of that up until this time because I'm one person and had to focus on what I'm doing to get to this point. But now we're looking and going to have some people help us with some of the things like the CRM, and I have a large number of first connections on LinkedIn, and we're just beginning to develop that. I have a conversation Monday with a person that's going to help some with that. I actually have 16,000 first connections on LinkedIn. I just developed those over the last few years, knowing that it was at one point in time that I would be ready to have something that needed to communicate with them, and we are there now. And there's other things we're working on as well. And then another thing I've found, contacts like this are great. Other contacts that I've found recently is to have some groups that are larger groups that I've been able to begin to communicate with, that gives you a larger feel of more people to hear the message and the concern and the desire, and beginning to actually two things that need to happen, and that's what's beginning to happen more and more, is those that share in my mission, in the mission of this project in a broad way, and then two, those that not only share in the mission, but also have the financial ability to do it, or someone shares it with them where they have the financial ability to do it. And people really care about things like this. A lot of people think people are selfish. There's a lot, there may be in many, I'm sure, but there's a lot of people have a big heart. And when they see a need, they want to do something to be ones that will contribute to the need to help. And we're just now in the early processes of expanding that. But any help with that, as just like here and what we're doing, and when we come back with WOW in a few weeks or whenever that is, all of those things are just layer after layer, and making those contact relationships to grow. That's what's going on, and really, again, we're just kind of at this stage of where we're ready for that. So,
Very good. Very good. Good stuff. So John, why don't you speak to this a little bit with Mill City Marketing MA and nonprofit marketing. We talk about Alignable, the social medias. We're here podcasting, so show business. You have the television advertising programs with an impressive number of television companies and so forth. So give us a little bit
Yeah.
of marketing shtick, John. How can we, take a look at this 10-day to 24-day campaign here and turn it up a notch because we're going to revolutionize your marketing, Mark Miller. All
great.
right.
Thank you.
By the way,
Such-
Mark, I just sent you a connection request on Alignable.
Okay.
We'll get that started. But yeah, Mark, if you're interested, I can talk to the people I have access to, like Disney Plus, um, live stream, Paramount live stream. I even have access, believe it or not, to radio stations all across the country
Great.
through iHeart Radio. And I'm working with another company I thought had access to like 9 primetime TV stations. But after having a conversation with somebody at that company last week,
Hmm.
I have to say they have a hell of a lot more TV stations I've never even heard of.
Wow.
But to give you an example, this list right here
Hmm.
is just from the Paramount company.
Wow.
CBS, all 3 of their channels, the news, sports, MTV,
Hmm.
VH1, CMT, Comedy Central,
Hmm.
TV Land, even Smithsonian Channel.
Wow.
That
Great.
would be a good one to get a hold of with this project.
Yes, and
Smithsonian.
quite a few of those, and radio stations as well have, for nonprofits like what we have, space
Yeah,
that donate, no charge for that. So
yeah. So I will be making some phone calls
appreciate that.
for you next week.
And I'm just one
Um,
person as far as at this point. I have some people that will be coming on board soon that will be able to help with the other areas, but having to focus on what I'm doing is great. So having people that can help refer people to have the conversation. If I have a conversation with someone, there's something usually happens positive. So
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, that's my way of helping
thank you.
get the word out. Um, but yeah, I will definitely over the weekend put the word out on Alignable about it.
Okay,
'Cause
great,
there's people out there that will be very interested in it, I think,
super.
even
And
helping out.
the goal, as we said, is the first 10,000 to get the rest for the first 200, but to have 1,000 that we want to put in the camp, which would be $100,000, and actually really major change the lives of many people there.
Yeah. And then you stop and think how many refugee camps there are too.
It's amazing, really is.
So yeah, it's a big project undertaking for one person. So yeah, we'll build the help up wherever we can.
Thank you. Thanks again, Kurt, for what you're doing as well. Appreciate it very much. You and Emily are special. Really, we really count you as a privilege to be part of what you do. Thank you.
Yeah, we're having tons of fun. Mark, what I can invite you to, and John, you too, in terms of what we're doing with this show. I'm helping a group called Helpopedia. Mark, I think you visited Helpopedia once. Did you or no?
I'm not sure. I don't think I did. No,
Oh, you didn't. You didn't. Okay.
there
Well, maybe
wasn't
it was
a
on my
time.
mind to get you there then. I don't know. But yeah, we have a real signature opportunity. Last year I ran a veteran telethon, with a handful of different organizations and about 30 different people that help make it possible. And then just with Project iHeart alone, veteran service organization, my wife Sue is working with an additional 30 people that helped in a 2 hour segment of the 8 hour program. But what we're doing on July 23rd, and I know you're talking 24 days on your right away goal, but I think it would be kind of neat with what you do with UA Legacy grants, to be able to talk about your mission a little bit. On July 23rd, we're going to be celebrating the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay.
36 years of ADA. So it's a very specific opportunity because we're able to take a look at, people with disabilities are 1 in 4 people.
Wow.
So when you look at our country, with our population, you know, that would suggest, about 90,000 people, are somehow in the realm of, you know, reserve parking spaces for people with disabilities, accessible parking spaces, assistive technology, adaptive equipment. When we talk about universal design, web content, accessibility guidelines, and all the people who, rely on this stuff or benefit from it pretty directly, not just out of convenience, like it can be for the entire population. We're going to be doing all of that. But when you look at the water quality issue,
Right.
cleaner and safe for water, or safe for cleaner water, to me, there's definitely something to be said. I'm working with somebody out of Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, that just with a condo community, just in terms of water supply, much less looking at is it safe, is it clean, is it, for safer, cleaner water. It's just water supply. They're messing around with the water bill. That basically we have people paying a water bill, and so you would think you pay your water bill, you get water. No, there's a third party. You got to pay a third party bill. And then
Right.
it's like, so they're double dipping and having people over the barrel because they know that people need to have water, so they'll pay it.
Right.
Well, with somebody who is advocating to say, try again, people, that's not, fair and just by any means, and not the way to do it. So what I'm saying is that I would have to trust that there's some propensity that, America's disabilities are probably disproportionately disadvantaged towards getting safer, cleaner water. Would you agree with that, Mark?
Definitely. Definitely. Yes.
Yeah. So what we're doing with this telethon on Thursday, July 23rd, it'll be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. So we're running it during prime time. So nonprofit TV network, and John, I don't know kind of what it would connect with your TV resources, but we're with Bravehearts TV media and all this stuff to really get it out there far and wide. We've created specialneeds.help. So, Mark, I think it'd be great if we can get you listed as a professional, get UA Legacy grants in there as a service, so that if people with special needs are looking at that poor water quality is contributing to their concerns,
Right.
that we can show you as a resource. But as far as the telethon event, if that evening, if you have any availability at all, I'd like to see maybe at least a few minutes, that we don't come and go with that event. It's a telethon aimed to raise $36,000 as a matter of the event, so based on collaborating with Helpopedia and our Special Needs That Help project, and we got Spirit of the Game Foundation is a part of it, and so forth. Mutual Humans United Mutual Aid Networks. It's going to be a collective effort, and I would like to invite you with UA Legacy grants to figure out a role that would be appropriate, and help that whatever doesn't work out for you that night, any limited time, or if they make it more limited than what we could have done, like we are doing here, maybe we'll premiere this episode. Emily, take a note, premiere this episode, on Thursday, July 23rd. And Emily's going to be out lakeside. She's going to be out with our Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club, and we're going to be journalizing how the Pewaukee Gators provide adaptive water skiing.
Hmm.
How cool is that? So we're going to have Americans with Disabilities Got Talent. So if you guys or anybody out there watching, listening to Revolutionize Your Marketing, we're taking offers for showcasing like pottery or physical arts of any kind, performing arts, singing, playing instruments, dancing, whatever it is. Americans with Disabilities performing. Americans with Disabilities Got Talent. We're hoping right out of the gate we have maybe 10 really good, talented people to premiere their talents during the show. Again, our program will be 2 hours, and I'm figuring we'll be interlacing about a half of an hour's worth of Americans with Disabilities Got Talent entertainment, throughout.
Send me the information on that, and we'll
Yeah.
schedule that out. Look forward to it. And Kurt, if you can share, you and Emily share the information with John about my contact, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do that. So,
Okay.
all right, John, we're in the concluding minutes of your show. Mark, sometimes he goes encore. So if you're not tracking with the encore design, just let John know. But otherwise, you never know with John. Once in a while he gets a last minute inspiration. We go down a rabbit hole, and look at the time. How time flew.
Well, Mark, after everything that you've said, great way to get it out is to get into a collaborative book like this,
Okay.
which they have 6 more books that they're working on right now,
Mhm.
where you could have your own chapter, anywhere from 2 to 4 pages. You could just explain your story. And with 40 people this book right here went #1 on Amazon in 3 days.
Hmm.
You got 42 people in that book all promoting it
Right.
throughout their networks and everything on Alignable.
Mhm.
I keep mentioning it.
Yeah.
That's what I do, marketing. I keep mentioning it.
Yeah.
Just yesterday alone, I got 3 people that are interested in checking out the authors.
Super.
But if you want, check it out. The website is businesswithpurpose.org.
Okay.
They have 6 books coming out. There's Reinvented Entrepreneurs. If you really want to put a story out, they've just opened up a whole new series of books that they're going to do. 1 person per book. So you could actually write your story and
Mhm.
what you're doing with the refugee camps and put it all into a book. They actually have a program for those people doing the books that it's done with AI. They have questions and you just fill in the questions.
Mhm.
AI will write the stories for you.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It'll give you some guidance.
Okay.
Um, and this whole series, I'm pretty sure is going to take off through
Great.
Alignable alone.
Great. Okay.
Uh,
Well, thank you very much, John. Thank you, Kurt, and for the invitation, and enjoyed it, and love to help you all any way we can as well. So we'll be in touch, John, and we'll look forward to your contact that you're sharing. And thanks again, Kurt.
okay,
Very welcome. Thanks
All
for
right.
doing it.
will do.
Appreciate you.
See ya.
Anybody wants to see my previous podcast, go to YouTube, type in Mill City Marketing MA. There are quite some interesting podcasts out there on my page. You want to get a hold of me? millcitymarketing@gmail.com is my email. My website is Mill City Business Help with 1 S at the end of business. You can find me on Alignable. You can find me on pretty much any social media page. I'm very easy to find, either under my name or under Mill City Marketing. And with that, Kurt, what do you got to give out?
Well, I'll just give a big thank you for tuning into today's episode of Mill City Marketing MA's production of Revolutionize Your Marketing show. John, wonderful job hosting. It's fun watching you, thinking of when you first started on that, day I kind of backed you in the corner and forced you to do it. Today you actually enjoy it. I'm just kidding. But if anybody has any comments, questions, concerns about what we do here out at World Building Podcast Network, this show, or anything we brought up today, feel free to call and text me 262-372-1754. That's my Google Voice line, accepting calls and texts. And then you can email me, send emails to Kurt, K-U-R-T, at spiritofthegame.org. And if you want to produce a show like this and you want Emily's help to, kind of do the thing like what John is doing here, Emily has helped over 60 people in 6 years do what you just saw John do today. That could be you. And if you know somebody, refer them here. And if you want to be a guest on this show, Revolutionize Your Marketing, make sure to reach John, Emily, me, us here at the World Building Podcast Network. We definitely want to get you on the show if you are so inclined. And while we're live, you can actually hop in and surprise us if you want. Pop up like a Jack in the Box, and come right on in here. The meeting ID here is 404-058-6152. And everybody's welcome here. Thank you for everything you do, watching, listening to the show. Make sure to share it out. Share it out with your social media presence. And also share it in your communications. Let people know if you want to revolutionize your marketing, here it is. All right, Emily, that should do it for today.